Hello friends, a very warm welcome to the Crochet Hook channel. Today we are going to learn how to crochet this textured basket weave stitch. This stitch has a very robust and textured look, and it's worked basically with the post stitches. As we already know, we have front post double crochets made and back post double crochets. So this entire pattern is just worked with FPDCs and BPDCs, and this stitch is a repeat of 8 stitches. 4 FPDCs, 4 BPDCs, and then just repeat it that way. So let's get started with this beautiful textured stitch and have fun crocheting it. I'm taking yarn of my choice, a crochet hook of 3.0 millimeters and a pair of scissors. So let's get started. Work a slip knot, and as I have already mentioned, the stitch is a multiple of 8 stitches. So you can chain any multiple of 8 and then add 4 more chains. So I'm going to chain 36, 32 is a multiple of 8 and then 4 extra chains. So I have worked my 36 chains here. Yarn over, skip 4 chains, and in the 5th chain insert the hook and work 1 DC. This is the row 1. Yarn over, insert the hook into the next chain and work 1 DC double crochet. Yarn over again into the next chain, work 1 double crochet, 1 DC. Here this first chain 4 counts also as a DC. Into the next chain work 1 DC. This is a simple round of DCs, and we'll just be working 1 DC into every chain ahead. So just keep working 1 DC into each chain till you reach the end. And at the end we should have 34 DCs, including first chain 4 also as a DC. So then for the row 2, chain 3 and turn the work. Yarn over, and we are going to work our first set of 8 stitches. So around the next DC below, work 1 FPDC like this. Front post double crochet is worked. Around the next DC below, again work 1 FPDC. Yarn over, around the next DC also work 1 FPDC, front post double crochet like this. One more time, yarn over, around the next stitch as well work 1 FPDC like this. So after chain 3 we have worked 4 FPDCs in 4 DCs below. After this, yarn over and into this next DC below work 1 BPDC, back post double crochet, that is worked like this. Yarn over again, and we'll repeat BPDCs 3 more times around. So here again yarn over, and around the next DC work 1 BPDC, 2 BPDCs being made, back post double crochets. Yarn over, around the next DC work the 3rd back post double crochet, BPDC. Yarn over, and around the next DC work the last back post double crochet of this. Repeat. So we have repeated the pattern once, 4 FPDCs and 4 BPDCs being made after the turning chain 3. For the second repeat of the same, yarn over, around the next DC work 1 front post double crochet, and we'll be working 4 FPDCs in 4 upcoming stitches. Yarn over again, in the next DC work 1 FPDC, 2, around the next DC work 1 front post double crochet, 3, yarn over again, around the next and the 4th DC work 1 FPDC like this. Yarn over. Nextly we'll be working 4 BPDCs in the next 4 stitches. So around the next DC, work 1 back post double crochet like this. Yarn over. Around the next DC, work the second back post double crochet, BPDC. Yarn over. Around the third DC, work 1 BPDC, back post double crochet, and around the fourth DC below, work the fourth BPDC like this. So we have repeated the pattern twice, 4 FPDCs and 4 BPDCs repeated twice. Again for the third repeat, work 4 FPDCs in upcoming 4 DCs below. 1 around the next DC, 1 FPDC, yarn over. Around the next DC, work 1 FPDC, and around the fourth one, work 1 FPDC. After having 4 FPDCs worked, yarn over and work 4 BPDCs in next upcoming 4 stitches below. 1 BPDC made in the next DC below. Work the second BPDC like this. Yarn over into the next stitch, work the third BPDC. Yarn over. Around the next stitch, work the fourth BPDC of this repeat. 3 times we have repeated the pattern, 4 FPDCs, 4 BPDCs, 4 FPDCs, 4 BPDCs. Till here, 3 times we have repeated it now. One more last time, we'll go for the repeat. Around the next 4 DCs, work 1 FPDC like this, 2, around the third one, 3, and around the fourth one, 4th FPDC being made. Then we have 5 stitches, 4 DCs and last chain 3. Around the next 4 stitches we will be working 4 BPDCs. Yarn over, work a BPDC in the next stitch like this. Yarn over again, into the next stitch work 1 back post double crochet like this. Yarn over again, around the next stitch, third stitch, work 1 BPDC, and the last one here around the next DC, work 1 BPDC like this. To end this row here, in the stop third chain, insert the hook, work 1 regular simple DC. So this finishes round 2 here. For round 3, chain 3 and turn the work. It's a simple round. We have FPDCs showing towards us and back post double crochets facing towards the table. We'll just work front post in the front post and back post stitches in the back post. Simple round. So then yarn over and in these 4 FPDCs below, just work 4 FPDCs, 1 at the top of each of them. First being made, around the next FPDC, work the second FPDC. Around the third FPDC below, work the third FPDC of this round as well. And around the fourth FPDC below, work the fourth FPDC of row 3. Simple. Now, these are the back post stitches. We'll just work back post in back post. So around the next BPDC, work 1 BPDC. Around the next BPDC, work the second BPDC. Around the next BPDC, work the third BPDC of this row. And around the fourth BPDC, work the fourth BPDC. So we have repeated the pattern once and we'll just go all the way round like this in this round. FPDC onto FPDCs and BPDCs onto BPDCs. So again 4 FPDCs, 1 on each of the 4 FPDCs below like this. 2, 3 and 4. Then we have BPDCs next to it. In these BPDCs, work BPDCs, back post double crochets, 1 on 1. 1 BPDC in the next BPDC, then work 1 BPDC in the next BPDC below. Yarn over, work the third BPDC in the third BPDC below. yarn over, work the 4th BPDC around the 4th BPDC, back post double crochet below. 2 times we have repeated the pattern until here. Yarn over, we have 4 FPDCs to go. Work 1 FPDC at the top of each of the 4 FPDCs below. Two, 3 and 4. After working 4 FPDCs, we have 4 BPDCs. Work BPDCs onto BPDCs, one on one, like this. 1 around the next BPDC, the second BPDC, around the third BPDC, work the third BPDC of this row, around the fourth BPDC of the last row, work the fourth BPDC of this row. Repeated the pattern thrice until here. This is how it looks. One last time, we'll go for the repeat. Yarn over around the next 4 FPDCs, work 4 FPDCs, 1 at the top of each of them. 2, 3 and one more, 4, and we have last set of 4 BPDCs below. Just work 1 back post double crochet in each of the 4 BPDCs below. Yarn over, work 1 BPDC in the next stitch, yarn over, work 1 BPDC in the second BPDC below, yarn over, work the third BPDC in the third BPDC below, and one more time around the next BPDC, work 1 BPDC. Then we have this chain 3, insert the hook in the top third chain with your yarn over and work 1 regular simple DC to end this row here. So this is how it looks. And for the row 4 is a row of inversion, and we'll be just inverting our stitches. We'll be working BPDCs on FPDCs and FPDCs on BPDCs. So we have 4 FPDCs here. Yarn over, work 1 back post double crochet in the next stitch, yarn over, around the next FPDC, work 1 BPDC, yarn over, around the third FPDC below, work the third BPDC. This is round 4, the row of inversion. Around the 4th FPDC below, work the 4th BPDC of row 4. So we are inverting this pattern from row 4. And each time we complete 3 rows, we'll just invert the pattern like this. We have BPDCs, around them we'll work 4 FPDCs like this. 1 FPDC around every BPDC below. 2, 3 and the last one here, 4. So we worked FPDCs around the 4 BPDCs below. Yarn over for the next repeat. We have FPDCs below, work 4 BPDCs in each of the 4 FPDCs below, like this. Remember, row 4 is a row of inversion where we invert or just work the opposite stitches, opposite posts onto the stitches. Onto FPDCs we work BPDCs, and onto BPDCs we work FPDCs. Nextly we have 4 BPDCs, work 4 FPDCs, 1 onto 1 like this. Yarn over, around the next BPDC below, work 1 FPDC. Yarn over, around the next BPDC below, work 1 FPDC. And yarn over, around the next BPDC below, work 1 front post double crochet. Have repeated the pattern twice till here. 2 more times to go. We have FPDCs here, work BPDCs in the FPDCs like this. 1 BPDC is being made in the first FPDC, work 1 BPDC in the next FPDC, again work 1 BPDC in the next FPDC below, and yarn over, work the last BPDC around the next FPDC below. like this. Then we have 4 BPDCs. We'll be working 1 FPDC around each of the 4 BPDCs below like this. So I've repeated the pattern twice. One last time. This is row 4th. Onto FPDCs we are working BPDCs, and onto BPDCs we are working front post double crochets. So then yarn over, work 1 back post double crochet in this next front post double crochet. Yarn over, work 1 BPDC in the next FPDC. 2. Yarn over, work 1 FPDC around the next, work 1 BPDC around the next FPDC. And then yarn over one more time, work 1 BPDC around the next FPDC. 4 BPDCs been worked, then around these 4 BPDCs work 1 FPDC in each of them like this. 2, 3 and 4. Then we have this last chain 3. Insert the hook, yarn over, insert the hook at the top 3rd chain, work 1 simple regular DC like this. This ends row 4 here. So after every row, into every 4th row we work this inversion, and this is all about this basket weave stitch that we have to take care of. And for 2 more rows we'll just continue like this. We'll be working FPDCs onto FPDC and BPDCs onto BPDCs after the inversion. So for in the rows 5 and 6 we'll just keep the stitches to be facing onto the sides they are already facing. So we are working BPDCs in this after chain 3 in the 4 BPDCs below like this. This is the row 5, and in the row 6 as well we'll just follow the same pattern like row 5. So we worked 4 BPDCs in the 4 BPDCs below. Nextly we have 4 FPDCs. We'll just work 4 FPDCs in the next 4 FPDCs, 1 at the top of each of them like this. So 5 and 6 will be like this, and again when we'll reach our 7th row we'll again work the inversion. So the pattern now looks like this. That squared checkered pattern is emerging now. Around the BPDCs work 4 BPDCs. When we are working with the back post stitches or front post stitches, basically when we are working with the post stitches, it's very important to work very light-handed loose stitches, as the pattern tends to shrink after it's being worked completely or even while making. So just keep your stitches really loose and light. That is a simple trick to keep the post stitches in shape. The edges will just be parallel then. So just go till the end like this. I have worked my second last repeat, and we have FPDCs. Next 4 FPDCs work 4 FPDCs, 1 into each of the stitches below like this. Around the last FPDC work the last FPDC, and in this top 3rd chain yarn over, insert the hook and work 1 regular simple DC like this. This completes row 5. Row 6 will be just same as row 5. We'll keep the stitches the way they are. So we have back post here, yarn over, just work 1 back post stitch, 1 back post DC into back post DC below like this. 2, 3 and 4. After 4 back post stitches been worked, we have FPDCs here. Just work 1 FPDC in each of the 4 FPDCs below. Four BPDCs and 4 FPDCs being worked. Again, we have 4 BPDCs. Just work 1 BPDC in each of the next upcoming 4 BPDCs below, like this. We have 4 FPDCs. We'll be working 4 FPDCs in the next 4 FPDCs here, 1 at the top of each of them, like this. This is how it looks. 2 more times. Work 1 BPDC in each of the next 4 BPDCs, like this. Then we have 4 FPDCs. Just work 1 FPDC in each of the 4 stitches below and reach the end. So we have last FPDCs left to be worked. So just work 1 FPDC in the next FPDC. Repeat this pattern 3 more times. And the 4th one here. And in this top third chain yarn over, insert the hook, work 1 regular DC to end this row here. This is the end of row 6 and we can very clearly see the emerged pattern. This is how it looks on this side. Three and 3, 6. So 7th row again is going to be the row of inversion. Chain 3 and we'll be working FPDCs around BPDCs. Simple. And after 7th row, 8th and 9th will just follow the way the stitches are in the row 7 and there will be no inversion. Only into every 4th row that we do the inversion. Then we have 4 FPDCs, work 4 BPDC, 1 around each of the FPDCs below. Simple. So this is how we will just go about the row 7, and row 8 and 9 will just follow the row 7, and after completion of 9 rows in the 10th row we'll again work the inversion and you can take it to any length you desire. This is how the stitch looks. Just keep the stitches loose and it will definitely come up awesome. Have fun crocheting. Hope it helps.